KXSF 102.5 FM San Francisco Community Radio. The best of KXSF is made possible by financial support from Jane Poppelreiter at Compass Real Estate, serving west of Twin Peaks neighborhoods and beyond with attention to detail and thoughtful client service. Visit her website at www.janepoppelreiterrealestate.com.
Nearly 4 years ago, East Bay band Panoram released their first EP. Since then, Panoram has changed its lineup and gone through the types of changes a young band must endure to grow. But the band survived, and today Panoram is on the verge of releasing their debut LP.
Treat me right, better treat me right now, baby, every single night that I'm away. 'Cause every night away, hey.
That track is called Betty White, and I'm not sure they're old enough to even remember who Betty White is. I don't think they don't look like Golden Girls fans to me. But that LP is called Mustard, and today I'm so pleased that Panoram is joining me live in the KXS studio to play some of their music and share their story. Welcome, guys. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
Good. Let's introduce ourselves. Let's start like nobody can see, you know. We're not on video, we're not streaming, but go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what instrument you're playing.
Good morning, you guys. My name is Joaquin. Normally I play drums. Today I'll be playing a little bit of guitar, some tambourine, and some bongos as well.
Ooh, cool.
And he's singing too.
Oh, yeah, singing.
Okay, Joaquin. That was Joaquin. Next?
My name is Elijah, and I play guitar and I sing.
How's it going, guys? My name is Saul. I usually play bass, but today I'm going to be playing guitar and singing.
Well, I had been saying all week, because I'd gotten it off your Facebook site, that you're brothers, but two of you are brothers,
right.
Joaquin and
So
Saul
No, he
are
was,
brothers.
He was joking.
and the outlier is...
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
actually.
That's okay. How did
If you say so, thank you.
It's okay to be. You know, KD felt like an outlier for so long.
Right.
He's a brother.
I'm
Yeah.
the
And
KD of
they're
Panoram.
all brothers. How did you form the band? Tell me your origin story, so to speak.
it's a long story, but
It is a long story, but
I'm sure it will.
Panoram started off with me and Joaquin, and we had another dude. His name was Joey, and he was playing bass with us for a while. And a couple of the first songs that we played were actually... The first song we actually all played together was called Panoram.
Really?
That was like the first song we ever did.
Was that a cover or an original?
It's an original, but we just kind of sort of liked the way that name sounded, and we kept playing for a little while. But
And what year was this?
this was
2015, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't it? Yeah, 2015, I believe.
and we just kept playing shows for a little while. But Joey ended up going down south to Long Beach for school,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Since then, we kind of just went through our trials of like different musicians, and we always really kept an eye on Saul, but he was just too young at the time. So it was kind of like we're just letting them.
So do you mind if I
similar.
ask you how old you are? Joaquin,
Yeah,
you are,
I just turned 28.
and
I'm 27.
Saul?
And I'm 17.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
the babyface assassin in the corner here.
Yeah.
Right?
Um,
Prodigy.
yeah, totally. So Saul, you weren't playing with them when
I
they
wasn't.
started at 2015.
Yeah.
How long has he been part of the band? Saul, how long have you been?
It's like a year now, or more than a year.
Okay.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Since like, when was it, February?
Yeah, February
March.
of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Number one, you're from the East Bay, and you
right.
drove in today from San Leandro, but where are you born and raised,
So
generally?
Well, I was born in Mexico, but raised in Oakland. And
Okay.
moved out to San Leandro.
Yeah.
I was born in Alameda, and I lived in Oakland for a little while, lived in Alameda for a little while, and then I ended up in San Leandro.
And so,
And I was born in Oakland, but
Okay.
from Mexico.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you, see, if you formed in 2015 and your first EP came out in 2015, that's pretty quick. I mean, you DIY recorded it, or how did that happen?
Yeah, we actually have a friend, Matthew Strasser, actually. So he has a recording studio, and we kind of just stumbled upon him. Yeah, that's a story in its own. We probably don't have time for that.
No.
But we went into the studio and he recorded our EP, the 4 songs. And since then, we kind of just took off a little bit.
It was karma. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when you say you stumbled upon him, it was luck or karma.
Yeah.
And you're going to be at the rickshaw stop next week, and I was reading the promotion for that, and it said through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, you've been struggling to get this LP out. Is it a struggle with finding yourself as a band, finding the right members, or has it been a struggle to make the music?
No, it's not a struggle to make the music. It was more how are we going to actually accomplish this goal, because of we had gone through a bunch of band changes with members, and whenever somebody comes into the mix, there's a whole new chemistry that gets created.
Mm-hmm.
Hence a whole new sound that we had to not just discover but create at the time. And it was another situation where we just stumbled upon Alex Miller. He's the person that really helped us out the most with the album, and also Samantha Gifford from Sam Sound Studios. She helped us out a lot with one of the tracks. But we stumbled along those two, and then Saul came in at a really perfect time. So
literally, it's a matter of finding yourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And finding your sound.
That's right.
Who does the songwriting?
Elijah, for sure.
Elijah.
We
So
pitch in every now and then.
so that's kind of the glue that has the glue from which you guys attach yourselves and work from.
Exactly.
Have you always been a songwriter, Elijah?
I definitely do. I do remember writing pretty much since I was really young. So, yeah, definitely.
And let's start with Joaquin and go. When did you first pick up an instrument and start thinking music was where you wanted to be?
So there's a video.
Oh, there's a story here.
There's a video of me playing drums when I was 2, because my dad was a drummer, right? Our dad was a drummer, and he had this drum kit set up, and literally like I couldn't even reach, but I'm playing since I was 2, and since then, I mean, I went to school for it, played a whole bunch of other instruments, but drums were always like beating in my heart.
So you went to music school.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leak that.
Can I ask where?
Yeah, so it's called, back in the day it was called the Young Musicians Program at UC Berkeley.
Uh-huh.
It was a summer camp, and they pay for you to go study for the whole
Awesome.
summer, right? And then they give you private lessons as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Elijah, what's your musical story?
Man, I started playing drums when I was 5, but I was terrible. So
What is it with boys and drums? Go ahead.
it was the first thing that I really wanted to play, and I don't know. I just started banging on everything that I could. And it just probably wasn't a good fit, so I ended up playing piano for a little while, and then once I picked up a guitar, that was when I was like, okay, this is.
And as you said, you've always been a writer of poetry, songs, whatever.
I mean, when I was like 5 years old, I would write like, oh, I had a sandwich today, and I went to the store. But it was always like logging different stuff and trying. I always liked people that come up with words and they make it just sound clever, even if it's a really simple thing. But if they make it sound clever, I've always been really drawn to that.
So, Saul, it sounds like you grew up in a very musical household.
We
did. What instrument and when did you start playing?
That is a good question, Joaquin. I don't remember.
I think it started off with guitar for you.
It did.
But he actually went a little bit into like videography.
At one point.
At one point, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I mean, you know your story better than I do.
Well, I don't know what I started with and when,
Yeah.
but I know I was young, and then I started with guitar. So
There was always music around your house.
Always.
And what
Always.
kind of music are we talking about?
Well, our dad grew up in the Bay Area in the 60s and 70s, so it was
Extrapolate
classic rock.
from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elijah? In your household when you were growing up, was there music?
Yeah, my grandma was a singer, so she was always singing quite a bit. My mom didn't quite exactly play that much, but my uncles, they both played, and my other aunt, she didn't really play, but my grandma was a big one. definitely.
What kind of music did she sing?
She sang opera.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you going to start with today? What are we going to hear first?
Betty White.
Oh, I love Betty
Opening
White.
Try a little bit of a little tambourine.
Yeah.
Tell me when you're ready to go. This is
Okay.
Panoram. They're from the East Bay. They are gracing us with their presence today. They drove all the way from San Leandro.
Yeah, thank you, MJ, for having us.
Over a bridge. I don't know which one.
Bay Bridge. Bay Bridge for
They
sure.
came over the Bay Bridge during traffic, so I really appreciate it.
No
Here's
worries.
Betty White from Panoram.
Betty, Betty White, bow to treat me right. Better treat me right now, baby, every single night that I'm awake. Every night away, hey. Betty, mess around, no please don't shoot her down. Body booty shaking and you know that I'm not faking to you right. I know, right. Seeing things, birds in the sand, just sand away. Oh, please just sand away. Betty, Betty White, bow to treat me right. Better treat me right now, baby, every single night that I'm awake. Every night away, hey. Betty, mess around, no please don't shoot her down. Body booty shaking and you know that I'm not faking to you right. I know, right. Seeing things, birds in the sand, just stand away. Oh, please just stand away. Spend every night awake, every night awake, every night awake, every night that I'm awake. You seeing things, birds in the sand, just stand away. Oh, please just stand away.
Awesome sound. Very, very professional, catchy song. Pop song, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. How do you describe your music? What are you going for?
I personally don't think we're going for anything. We're just kind of like Eliza writes, and we get the feeling, and
Pretty
we
much.
go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, in terms of trying to describe your influences or what you're trying to capture, here's a good question. When you make music and you put it up on iTunes or Apple Music or whatever they're calling it today, you have to pick a genre when you're entering it, don't you?
Yes.
What are you going to pick?
We picked rock, just because it's honestly it's like
The
it's
close.
like the foundation
closest.
for
Yeah.
us. But
Blues.
one of my friends said wavy.
Wavy?
Yeah, wavy.
Well, I
created
called
our
it
genre.
synth pop. I mean, I was trying to come up with a description, you know, in terms of promoting your appearance today. But, you know, so many times today, it seems like pop is a bad word unless you're living the dream.
Right.
But I don't think it's a bad word at all. It just means it's popular and catchy. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but there's so many other influences blending into your music.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely blues, I would say.
Blues
There's a lot
for
of
sure.
bluesy stuff Yeah.
Who would you say, starting with Joaquin, who would you say your major influences are at this point?
Major influences. Well, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to pinpoint, right? But for me, always playing the drums, I always went back to the jazz greats, right? Like Buddy Rich, definitely one of them. And then moving forward, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, Beatles as well.
Yeah. Elijah, major influences.
Man, it's really hard to say this, and I hope I don't sound crazy for saying this, but like I get influenced more or less by other types of art sometimes, like movies. Like movies will have like me thinking about like a different sound, or like soundtracks from movies. Like I'm a big Rolling Stones fan. I'm a big I was obviously a big fan of like Nirvana and like that kind of songwriting. Yeah, and also Led Zeppelin. Like it's hard to not be like influenced by like the classic rock genre
So,
for us.
major influences.
Same as everybody else. Mainly Led Zeppelin.
So we'll start. Saul, who are you listening to today other than yourself?
Ooh. I've been listening to a lot of Daniel Caesar lately, actually, and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. No, Daniel Caesar put on a great show at Outside Lands, last year, the year before. I can't remember. It was a sunny day, though, and it was awesome. Elijah, who are you listening to nowadays?
I am listening to a lot of Elton John these days.
Gee, I wonder why.
I mean, he's got that movie coming out. But I don't know. It's like.
Are you listening? Here's a good question. Are you listening to older Elton John or newer Elton John? Because there's the whole Madman Across the Water era, and then there's the...
I'm more of a Yellow Brick Road.
Yellow Brick Road era, yeah. Brown Dirt Cowboy's good, too.
Yeah.
Joaquin, what are you listening to these days?
Lately, Khruangbin. Lots of Khruangbin. Have you heard of Khruangbin?
Is that spelled Khung? Khung? I never knew how to pronounce it. I've played it on the show, but I just completely bungled the pronunciation. Yes, I know who they are.
They're amazing.
They're
awesome.
From Texas.
Yeah. What else are you going to play for us today?
Eclipse.
We have a slower song for you guys.
Okay.
A little bit.
Don't do that on my behalf. This is Eclipse by Panoram.
Pretty sure. All waiting for the sun to come out. It's the time of the season, no reason to doubt. Oh, feeling so free, we slept under the tree. Wonder, wishing, waiting, I hope it's for me. Baby, you are my love, my love, my love. Baby, you are my love. You spend another night in without a bed, but as long as I'm here staying, you rest your head.
still on a pen and waiting, nothing to do. I was looking for something sweeter, and I found you. Baby, you are my love, my love, my love. Baby, you are my love. Baby, you are my love.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That was
Thank
a
you.
great song for this morning.
Thank you.
You guys sound so polished and so good. No, and I say that because are you working at this full time? I mean, it's hard to make a living full time as an artist in the Bay Area. We know that. Are you able to work at this full time? That's why I say it sounds so polished and good and nice. It's wonderful.
Define full time.
Well, do you have day jobs?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
We're poor.
And I'm assuming, Sal, you're still a student?
Yeah, I'm still in school.
Yeah. That's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's what I always told my kids. Being a student is a full-time job.
Anytime that we can play music, though, I think we're in there
Yeah.
trying to polish it up, as you say.
Oh, it's awesome. How often are you doing shows?
I think this year we haven't really done much, but as you can imagine, 2015 and 2016, those were busy years. And then 2017.
Yeah, because 2015, 2016, we went to LA. We did a couple things up north. We did a lot. We had a lot of focus on playing shows, but after all the stuff that we went through, as far as like band members changing and wanting to get an LP together, we kind of took some time off from playing shows just to go in the studio and really work hard on it and work hard on getting the songs together and making sure that we were happy with them, because man, we definitely dug for it.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
Yeah.
But we're coming back though, and we're definitely gonna be playing some shows this
I was
year.
going to say, so with the LP out, I mean, it's de rigueur to tour an LP or try to do, tour is, sounds like you're going to go to London and whatnot. But,
To wish. That'd be tight.
that'd be Netherlands. They'd love you. But to do shows around it, to promote it, obviously, are you able to do that? And I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're managing yourselves and you're the ones booking your own shows and doing all that. So the business of a band is just as time consuming as the musicianship of a band.
Definitely.
How are you juggling?
It's the least fun aspect,
Yeah.
for sure. I think we'd rather just play music.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said that better, to be honest. I mean, you know, we know it's a necessary thing that has to happen right now, and we're, you know, I'm not the best with social media or anything like that. I'm not very good at it, but you know,
I think that's the badge of honor these days.
Yeah,
That's true.
but you know, it's
That's why we're live right now. What's up, you guys?
yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're working on it.
Are you Facebook living this?
We're Instagram live.
You're
Yeah,
Instagram
Instagram live.
living it. Well, I was close. But how are you going to manage doing shows and making ends meet? It's a hard question.
It is hard.
I almost got fired today, so, so if I do get fired, I'll
Do
I'll
I
have
need
a
to
lot
call
more.
your boss?
You might have to. Actually,
Can we call him
I'd
right
be
now?
happy to. We could
But-
send him a copy of the podcast, and I'd be happy to call your
That
boss.
would be awesome.
that
Yeah.
would be awesome. Yeah.
I think to answer your question, we'll just have to. I think we'll know when we get there. You know,
Yeah.
we as of now, I know that our jobs has to be to just send out this album to as many places as we can, so that we can try to get as many shows as we can. You know.
And how do people find this album?
So right now is only accessible on YouTube, but it's actually going to be on all platforms on the 20th.
On
so
the
you'll
20th.
be able to find it on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. You know.
All those. Yeah.
Same day as our show at the Rickshaw.
And
Yeah.
I would mention too, which is always my plug, people like Panoram and all local artists and many other artists that don't even have to be local make money not from streaming. They make money when you buy their music and when you go to their shows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when you buy their merch. So remember, those, you know, don't stream it, buy it, is what I'm saying.
There you go.
That's how you support local artists and any other artists who's trying to cut it, you know, other than the big guys.
Yeah.
So your show is on Thursday. How do you like performing live?
That's the
We
best.
love it.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Best.
It's like a moment of nothing else matters. You know, we're just us three on stage, and we kind of just, you know, tune everything out, all the problems, you know, everything going on, and just it's euphoria as soon as like my hands touch the sticks, or when I see these guys like stepping up on stage, it's just like, okay, here we go. I don't know. That's how I feel.
No, that's awesome. I mean, that's where the moment is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's many artists who would rather just, you know, like I call them the bedroom artists. You make your music and you put it out and you do that, and performing terrifies them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're very insular, but it doesn't sound. You guys sound like you're out there, and the struggle is being insular and getting the work done.
No,
Yeah.
we're terrified.
I feel the most terrified when we're not doing stuff, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when we're playing live, it feels, I don't know, if it does feel right.
Yeah,
At least for me, I don't know.
for sure.
You guys?
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's for sure always a little bit of fear, right? Because, you know, you want to do your best, but, you know, it wouldn't be real if there was no fear, you know?
yeah. And honestly, the response, you know, we've played for, you know, maybe 200 people at the most, right?
Yeah.
But every time, I've always thought that if you can make 200 people feel like
Yeah.
good, I feel like the bigger shows would be better. Granted, I don't know, but the response that we've gotten from those 200 people have been really, really positive, and I definitely I just want more of that, you know.
Well, I think you just put it really nicely. If you can make 200 people feel good, the karma's got to go beyond that.
Nice.
Um,
I like that.
what's our last song that you're going to play for us today?
We have it.
Yeah, it should be.
There you go. Where are you getting?
Yeah, you have to get right into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a cheap mic. That's
Okay.
why you need to donate to community radio. Okay, this is Meadows and Panoram.
Oh, sorry, guys.
All
Okay.
good. 6.
Why seems you got no room, no other thought, with a high soul-esteem. You might come down. It's been a long time coming, babe. Oh, it's time to come home. Drag your feet to some other side of town. And oh, I remember it's a brother that makes a man. Forgive, 'cause they don't quite understand. Will you be by my side in the crashing riptide? It's been a long time coming, babe. Oh, it's time to come home. Drag your feet to some other side of town. And oh, 'cause they don't quite understand. It's been a long time coming, babe. Oh, it's time. Won't you come on home?
Panoram, off their brand new LP, Mustard. That was called Meadows. Joaquin, Elijah, Saul, thanks so much for joining us today. God, that was such a pleasure meeting you and such a pleasure listening to your music. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Good luck on your show Thursday,
That's
June 20th at Rickshaw Stop.
We'll see you there.
Yep,
See you
and their
there.
LP is Mustard. Look for it on all the known streaming services and buy it.
Bye.
Have a safe travel home.
Love you guys.
Thank you.